Okay, good afternoon, bowling fans, and welcome to Clearview Lanes here in Mount Joy, PA, for the finals of today's three-person team tournament for the PJBT. We are down to our final two teams in each division. We're going to have a head-to-head one-game roll-off to determine our champions. Time to introduce our remaining teams. So hang loose as I'm doing this solo today. So make sure, tell your friends to tune in, and we will get started.
My score is the champion. For the handicap side, I have the difference of your two team handicap scale, 63. Okay? So you just go right in the game like you did before, and give out awards right after. Okay? You get 3 balls of practice. 3 balls of each lane before we start. Okay? And then higher team seed will have choice of what we start with. Okay? Alright? So with that said, Johnny and
Aiden.
I'm actually going to put this against the wall. Leonard, big finger, Leonard. Okay, big triangle. That's fair. Okay, good afternoon, bowling fans, and welcome to Clearview Lanes for the one-game final of our three-person team tournament for today's PJBT. Today sponsored by BuddiesProShop.com. Okay, time to introduce our two remaining teams in each division. They'll be taking each other on in a one-game match to determine who finishes second and our champion. Okay, in the scratch division, our number 2 seed team is Cameron Bennett, Johnny Laguerre, and Chance McLean. And in the title match, they are taking on our tournament leaders at plus 270 for 6 games, Blaze Denny, Nick Trentler, and Gavin Courtney. Have a nice hand for our scratch finalists. All right, now time to introduce our 2 handicap teams. Our number 2 seed team is Stephen Leonard, Benjamin Finger, and Gary Leonard Jr. And in the title match, they'll be taking on our tournament leaders at minus 147 for 6 games. We have Aiden Wright, Brayden Nisley, and Andre Golabucci. Let's have a nice hand for a handicap finalist. All right, we'll let them practice and we'll begin our one-game final. Three balls in each lane, okay?
All right, bowling fans. So there are our finalist teams for today. We want to welcome you to Clearview Lanes here in Mount Joy for today's PJBT final. We started the day with 51 bowlers, 17 teams total. We're down to our final 2 teams in each division. Each team bowled 5 games of qualifying. We cut to the top 4 teams in each division. They bowl 1 additional game of qualifying, and after the 6 games, we are down to these 4 teams in the 1-game final for the title. Okay? Now, I do want to talk a little bit about today that today's pattern was a challenge pattern. So today's pattern was Dead Man's Curve version 2. Dead Man's Curve version 2. And what we can tell you about this pattern is that our finalists are going to be bowling on a fresh pattern today. We actually used about 26 lanes in the bowling center for qualifying, and we left these lanes fresh for the finals. So that's why we're going to be using these pairs. This pattern is pretty tough. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. I can tell you based on the scores, which are posted on tournamentbowl.com, our official scoring website this year for the PJBT. Our tournament leaders, Denny, Trentler, and Courtney, had a demanding lead all day. They actually come into this final almost up by about 300 pins on the field. So they had quite a day on this pattern, but there was quite a battle for second to make it to this finals. And then for our handicap side, all 4 teams that were in the 1-game final game of qualifying, they were all within 20-some pins of each other. So the last game really determined the 2 teams that made the finals. So in a moment here, we'll get going. I can also tell you while we're waiting, our message board is up and operational. So if anybody wants to watch, make sure you tune in. And you're welcome to throw out a message there on the message board. Let us know what team you're rooting for. Hello, Chris Abel from Pottsville, PA. Thanks for tuning in. So, and just a reminder to all of our PJBT bowlers and families out there that are watching, our tournament series continues next Sunday. Next Sunday, we will be at Haja Rose Bowl in Allentown for the 8th major of the PJBT season. Singles major, guaranteed top prize, $300 scholarship, and our awards from Crown Trophy. And then also next weekend is bonus payouts for high girls. So for our girls out there, if you bowl in the major next week, you can win bonus scholarships that do not cost you anything to enter. It comes with your entry fee. You can win bonus scholarships for being the high girls in next week's event. So once again, next Sunday, March the 9th, we'll be at Haja Rose Bowl in Allentown starting at 10 a.m. next Sunday. And then also, just a reminder, our next adult junior type event is coming up 2 weeks from today, Sunday, March the 16th. We will be at Summit Lanes in Pocono Summit, PA for our Super Adult Junior event. The Super Adult Junior is 2 youth bowlers and 2 adult bowlers on each team. 2 sanctioned youth, 2 sanctioned adult. It's kind of like a regular adult junior, but a doubles adult junior, okay? So each team consists of 2 normal adult junior teams. So that will be up at Summit Lanes in Pocono Summit, PA, starting at 10 a.m. on Sunday, March the 16th. And then our final event to finish off the month, Sunday, March the 30th, will be at Strike Zone Alleys in Pottsville, PA for a 21 and under doubles event. That's a standard doubles event. Just grab a partner, grab a friend. You can sign up as a 2-person teams at Strike Zone Alleys in Pottsville, starting at 10 a.m. on Sunday, March the 30th. Our entire schedule is posted on our website, pjbtbowlingseries.com, and our information page on Facebook. Fastest way to get PJBT info. Okay? Also, again, want to thank our sponsor today, BuddiesProShop.com, Chris Forey. Want to thank those guys for sponsoring today's event and all our events every year here at Clearview Lanes. All right, so looks like our bowlers are finishing up practice, and in just a moment, we will get everything started. So stay tuned. You're watching the PJBT live on YouTube. We're about to begin our title matches. All right, PJBT fans, it looks like we are about to begin our title matches. Okay, so the only decision is, right, is the total. I didn't start on 31, finish on 32. Start on 32, finish on 31.
Hey, good luck, kid.
You want to finish on 31? Okay. So I have to reverse that.
For the championship.
Any Trevor and Courtney, start on 29, finish on 30. Okay, bowling fans, time to begin our title matches for today's three-person team tournament. On the scratch side, we have top seed Blaze Denny, Nick Trevor, Gavin Courtney, taking on number 2 seed Cameron Bennett, Johnny Laguerre, and Chance McLean. Okay? The team of Denny, Trevor, Courtney have elected to start the match on lane 29. Okay? On the handicap side, we have top seed Aiden Wright, Brayden Nisley, and Andre Golabucci. Taking on number 2 seed Stephen Leonard, Benjamin Finger, and Gary Leonard Jr. Aiden, Brayden, and Andre have elected to start the match on 32. And the difference in handicap is 63 pins going to the Leonard team for this match. All right? Fans, let's give a nice hand for our title match. Your name is up. You're ready to go. There you go.
Okay, so if you're just tuning in, again, one game match to determine our champions. Handicap division will start us off. 8 count for Stephen Leonard. And 8 count for Aiden. However, he leaves the 7-9 split. Scratch side, 7 count for Blaze Denny, picks up the spare. 9 count for Cameron. Stephen Leonard gets his spare. 1-9 for the first frame for Aiden. Trentler with a strike. Ben Finger also with a strike. And Brayden with a strike. Our middle bowlers all with a strike in frame number 1. Again, it's the total pins. Johnny Laguerre comes in a little bit light, leaves a 2 pin. Gary Leonard Jr. first shot comes in high, leaves the 3-6-10. Over on the scratch side, Gavin with a strike. And Andre with a strike. So good start for their team. 2 strikes on the board. Johnny Laguerre gets his spare. First shot in the finals for Chance McLean. Comes in a little bit high, leaves the tricky 9-10. Second frame for Steven comes in light, leaves the 1-2, so he'll try to pick up the spare. Meanwhile, Aiden gets another 9 count after having 9 in the first. Cameron Bennett with a strike in the second. And McLean picks up his spare. So the scratch side so far, board is clean. Steven picks up his spare. Back-to-back spares for him. Aiden not able to convert. So 18 in the second for him. Back on the scratch side, Blaze Denny up in the second. Comes in a little bit high, leaves a 4 pin. 8 count for Ben Finger, leaving the 5-10. And we have our first double. Braden Nisley with a double. So good shot there for him. Johnny Laguerre. Messenger takes out the 10, but leaves the 7. So he'll try to pick up the spare. Denny gets his spare. Ben does not get count, so 26 in the second for him. Johnny Laguerre picks up his spare. Colabucci leaves the 7 pin in frame 2. Nick Trentler comes in light, 2-8-10. Very common lead when you go light on this kind of pattern. 7 count for Gary Leonard. Chance crosses over, gets a strike. So, early lead for those guys. 2 for Nick, 28 in the second. 2 also for Gary. He has 18 in the second. Steven comes in light, 6 count. 8 and 7 pin. And Gavin comes in high, leaving the 6-7. So he'll try to convert the spare. So our second place team, who trailed most of the day, they have the early lead in the scratch match.
Plays Denny back on it with a strike in the third.
So Nick Trentler gets a strike to follow up Blaze. First back-to-back strikes since the first frame for their team. Braden Nisley with a strike. He has the first triple on the scoreboard. Cameron Bennett comes in high, leaves a 4 pin. Now Gavin, after the open in the second, comes in light, leaves a 3-9. So he'll try to pick up the spare. And Andre Colabucci with a strike. So, team in the lead right now in the handicap match would be the team of Wright, Nisley, and Colabucci. They have the lead in the match.
Push. Yes. Oh yeah.
Johnny Laguerre with a strike in the third. Those guys will have about a 20-pin lead through 3 frames as soon as Chance steps up here in the third. The handicap side separated by 92 in the handicap at the moment. Steven Leonard gets a little bit wide. So he'll try to pick up the spare. No harm, no foul if he can get all 10. Chance with a strike in the third. 8 in after 3 opens. Gets a strike in the fourth. So that's his first strike in the match. Gary gets 8, so 51 in the fourth for him. Back on the scratch side, Cameron leaves a 4 pin. Denny with a strike. That's the first double for the team. Braden comes in light, Got some fortunate break to only leave the 2-pin. So he's going to try to pick that up, which he does. Bennett covers his spare. Ben fingered, 7 count in the 4th, leaving the 1-3-9. He's able to convert. Trentler with a double, so our tournament leading team in scratch, they got off to a slow start. Both have 2 doubles going in now. Johnny Laguerre to match. He gets a strike, so big shot for him there. And Andre got a strike, so he has a double for their team. And there's a strike from Gavin Courtney, so perfect frame for our team of Denny, Trentler, and Courtney in the 4th frame. Okay, so we enter 5th frame. Eight count for Cameron Bennett, leaves the 2-8. Picks up the spare. Same thing, 8 spare for Aiden Wright. 9 count for Stephen Leonard. He leaves the 10-pin. And he picks up the spare. Right into the miss. Uh-oh. We have 2 misses. Well, Ben's going to get that set back up.
Man, I need a 2-6.
You need a 6-pin?
2-4.
2-4. Okay, so after we got that squared away and we have to set up a pin on lane 30, back on it here. So we're going to begin the 6th frame on the handicap side, and match only separated by 9 pins at the moment. Match is certainly tightened up on that side with the handicap. Stephen Leonard hits the head pin, pretty good shot, leaves the 10 pin. Aiden crosses over, gets a 9 count, leaves the 2 pin. Chance McLean able to pick up the spare. So after a strike in the second, he's got a spare full game. I'm sorry, he has a strike in the second and third, I should say. Cameron's the one with only one strike in the second. Oh, he chops it. So 104 in the sixth for Cameron. Back on the handicap side, Aiden with a spare. Steven was not able to convert, but a strike from Ben Finger. So Ben picks him up. Meanwhile, Blaze Denny, solid 9-pin. Pretty good shot. And Braden with leaving a 4-pin. Gary Leonard, strike working. Comes in light, 1, 2, 8, 10. So he'll try to pick that up. Meanwhile, another strike for Johnny Laguerre. Johnny Laguerre makes it 4 in a row for their team. Blaze picks up his spare. Braden does the same. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is our title match for today's PJBT 3-person team tournament. We're in Mountjoy, just outside of Harrisburg and Lancaster, kind of in between. Nick Trentler leaves a 4-pin. Today's tournament sponsored by BuddiesProShop.com. I want to thank Chris Forey and Buddies Pro Shop for sponsoring all our events every year here at Clearview Lanes. Trentler able to pick up a spare, 107 in the fifth for him. Chance McLean leaving a split, 4-6. And he will take the field goal. No points on the bowling scoreboard, though. 113 in the sixth. So 2 open frames for their team in the sixth frame. On the handicap side, Colabucci not able to convert his spare, 116 in the sixth. As stepping up in the seventh, Aiden Wright, 7 count, leaves the 2-4-7. Aiden able to pick up his spare. And a strike for Steven Leonard, his first strike of the match. Meanwhile, Gavin Courtney leaves a 6-pin. So he will pick up his spare there. 95 in the fifth for him. And his teammate, Blaze Denny, starts the seventh with a solid 8-pin. So again, you can see this pattern not easy on our bowlers today. It's not a guaranteed strike every time. This pattern playing pretty hard. It's like a 3-to-1 ratio pattern. All right, so 134 in the seventh. For Braden. Ben picks up his spare. Nick Trentler with a strike. Cameron Bennett also with a strike to start the seventh for their team. Colabucci leaves a 4-pin. Pretty good shot for Gary Leonard, but he leaves a 7-pin. So both bowlers with single-pin spares to make. Johnny Laguerre, big score for their team right now. He's got 5 in a row. Gavin Courtney with a strike. Gary Leonard and Andres both pick up their spares. So handicap side is going to start frame 8. The scoreboard shows 22 pins separating our two teams. Chance McLean with a strike. Follows up the open in the sixth with a strike in the seventh. Perfect frame for their team in that frame. So scratch side will start the 8th frame. Six count for Steven, 9 count for Aiden. Cameron with a good shot, leaves a 4-pin. Blaze with a strike in the 8th. 132 in the 8th for him. Stephen Leonard, no count on the fill ball, so 101 in the 8th for him. Aiden picks up his spare. Cameron picks up his spare. Then finger crosses over, leaves the 5-7. That'll be a tricky one. Nick Trentler with a strike. That's a big double for their team. And Braden with another strike. So that's a 4th strike in the match for Braden. Big shot here for Johnny Laguerre. Ball does not push. And he comes in high. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. So he'll look to try to convert that. Gavin Courtney with a strike. So their team with a bunch of doubles. Perfect frame in the 8th. Andre kicks out the 4-pin, gets a strike in the 8th. Johnny Laguerre gives it a good effort, gets 4 out of 5. He's at 182 in the 8th. So we certainly have a match on the scratch side. On the scratch side, it is very tight. Gary Leonard gets 3, so 109 for him. So an open frame for the team in the 8th on the Leonard side. So as we start the foundation 9th frame on handicap, our two teams are separated by just 12 pins. And Aiden gets a 7 count as he comes in high. 4, 6, 8, 10 rather. Strike in the 9th for Cameron. Chance leaves the 6-10, picks up the spare. Oh, Steven goes wide. First shot. On and open, he'll try to get the spare. Aiden gets 1, so 127 in the 9th for him. Eight count for Steven, 109 in the 9th. Plays with an 8 count, leaving the 4-7. Another strike for Braden Nisley.
Yes!
And Johnny Laguerre back on it with a strike. So very interesting on the scratch side. Both of our top bowlers can shoot in the 2-0s. Our middle bowlers can both shoot in the 240s. And the bottom bowler right now, Gavin can shoot 235, but Chance can only shoot 213. So it's about a 20-pin difference on the scoreboard at the moment. But if Nick would not strike here, or Gavin, then we could end up going to the 10th frame with an even match. And that ball is in. Nick leaves a 6-9. So now that will drop him back to max score 225. So if Chance can strike here, our scratch teams will be about even going to the 10th frame. Okay? On the... Oh. Okay, hold on. We have to get 832. So Chance with a 6 count here. So now his max score is only 199, and he's not able to convert. So now he's at 188, as he is 158 in the 9th. So that opens the door a little bit for Gavin Courtney if he can get a strike here. And he does. Big shot there. So scoreboard is going to be separated by about 40 pins at the moment, going into the 10th frame, but anything can still happen. We have a tough pattern here. You never know what could happen. Handicap side, scoreboard says we're separated by just 1 pin at the moment. So, first shot strike for Blaze Denny. Again, this is the final frames of our title match for today's three-person team tournament here at Clearview Lanes in Mount Joy. Cameron Bennett matches with a strike, high flush strike. Andre gets 2. So our handicap side begins the 10th frame, separated by 25 pins. 25 is the difference. Blaze leaves a 9-pin. Aiden starts off the 10th frame on handicap and gets a strike. So big shot there for him. Cameron Bennett with a big strike. So now he will beat Blaze head-to-head, as he can be 204 max. Blaze would be 192. He does finish with 192 with the spare. On the handicap side, 7 count for Stephen Leonard. Aiden up for the second shot of the 10th after a strike in the first. And he gets a strike in the second. So a big shot there for his team. Trentler comes in high, leaves the 3-6-10, so that's going to be an important spare for their team. Steven gets 2, so he'll finish with 118. Dennis finishes with a messenger strike, 204. Beats his cross opponent by 12 pins. Nick picks up his spare. Meanwhile, Ben Finger gets a strike for their team. Big shot here for Braden Nisley, as he has the double going into the 10th. He's going to cross over, and he's going to get a strike. Not the way he probably drew it up, but he'll take it. Big strike. Yes. Johnny Laguerre with a strike on the scratch side. Ben Finger with another strike. So we're really getting some strikes here at the end. 212 for Nick Trentler. And Ben Finger finishes out with 3 strikes and 147. A great finish for them. Johnny Laguerre with another strike. He'll be in the 240s. A great game for Braden Nisley, as he shoots 210 in the title match by getting the spare. Gavin Courtney with his first strike. And that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Our team of Aiden Wright, Braden Nisley, and Andre Calabucci are going to take the title in handicap. But our scratch side is not decided yet. 242 for Johnny Laguerre. So it all comes down to the last couple shots here. Gavin with a strike, so he can get into the 230s. Chance McLean gets a strike, so he matches the shot. So Gavin finishes with 235. Their team total is 639. And I think, if my math is right, I think that's enough to give them victory. I think it looks like Denny, Trentler, and Laguerre will have a 5-pin victory. So on the handicap side, it is a 83-pin win for Wright, Nisley, and Calabucci. 546 to 463 with the handicap. And I believe Gavin had to strike out to win the match for their team. It's going to be a 7-pin victory 639 to 632 is our final score on the scratch side. All right, give us a moment. We're going to prepare some awards. We're going to give out a bunch of awards, and then we'll wrap up the show. So stay tuned. You're watching the PJBT live on YouTube. Stay tuned for our final awards. All right, bowling fans, we're going to give out some awards.
for today's PJBT, our three-person spring team tournament here at Clearview Lanes in Mount Joy, PA, sponsored by BuddiesProShop.com. Our runner-up finishers in the scratch division, the team receiving a $180 scholarship, certificate, and medals goes to the team of Cameron Bennett, Johnny Laguerre, and Chase McLean. Finishers in the handicap division, also receiving a $180 scholarship. And the second place medal goes to the team of Stephen Leonard, Benjamin Finger, and Gary Leonard Jr. Okay, bowling fans, time to crown our champions. In the scratch division, our winning team receiving a $450 scholarship. And the first place acrylic plaques for the championship goes to Blaze Denny, Dick Trendler, and Gavin Courtney. Nice bowling, gentlemen. Nice bowling. All right, I'll get a picture in a moment. Okay. All right, and our winning team in the handicap division, also receiving a $450 scholarship, certificate, and the first place plaques go to Aiden Wright, Braden Nisley, and Andre Colabucci. Congratulations. Nice bowling. One of these. All right, and then I'm going to have you come back to their district plaque in a minute. Okay? All right, hang out for a little bit. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday afternoon. We'll have the finals of the 8th Singles Major for the PJBT next Sunday, March the 9th. Starting at 10 a.m., we'll be at Haja Rose Bowl in Allentown, PA. All right, have a great week, and we will see you next week from Allentown. All right, so thank you, bowling fans, and we will see everyone.